This channel is supported by my online fishing courses at saltstrong.com/Skinner, as well as my books, including my latest book, Fishing the Edge, Techniques and Tales from Surf, Boat, and Kayak. You can learn more about the books at johnskinnerfishing.com and on Amazon. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, so I don't want to call it a scouting trip, but I'm heading out to the rips off of Eastern Long Island. I have no idea what's out there. Maybe nothing. Maybe there's some albies. I don't know. Gonna have to go out and see. The tides are really soft, but oh my God, it's a beautiful morning. I gotta try something, so that's what I'm gonna do. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, we go through our seasonal progression. We're just coming kind of out of the summer fluke fishing season, and now like the stripers and bluefish and stuff should start schooling up. So yeah, I'm heading out into the rips and gonna do that, but then gonna do something absolutely completely different. I've got my drone with me. Gonna visit a bombed out fort out on the water, and yeah, so we're gonna see what's around there. But first, getting out to the fishing grounds, and we're going to see what's there. But oh my goodness, what a morning this is. And all right, well, let's get out there. And I'll have links to all of the gear in the video description. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Okay, you see me looking over to my right there. I have spots that I plan to drift over, and I will do that. But yeah, what I'm seeing over to my right on the edge of the rip, yeah, I'm gonna definitely go check out what I'm seeing there. Tons of birds, fish busting. Great sign to roll out on the water and see this sight. So I actually forgot my plugs. Let's just see what these are. I've got one plug on a rod. I think I have another one laying around in a boat somewhere. But let's just see what these things are. Oh, come on, don't be eating my plug. Bird. Oh, goodness. That's bluefish. Yeah, I came out to bend the rod, see what's here. No, okay, that's what it is. After I'm done with this, I'm gonna go fish deep, see if we can pull stripers. Okay, not a huge surprise that I got a bluefish there. It's pretty typical up on top, but I got to tell you, many times here, I've caught quality striped bass up on the surface in this area. But all right, going to go back to the original plan. I've got a 6-ounce bucktail. Going to get it down to the bottom. What are we in there? It's like 52 feet. And see if I can pull striped bass from underneath the bluefish. Okay, drift speed's about 3 miles an hour, which is actually not very fast for here. It's like I mentioned on the intro, it's a soft tide, around a quarter moon. When you're here during around the full moon, new moon, 5 mile an hour current speeds are not uncommon. You see me making those cranks there? I'm just holding the jig, trying to follow the bottom contour, so I make a couple cranks as I go up slowly. All right, you can see the fray in the line there. I mean, you always have to check your leader after a bluefish, but that was quite visible. I'm right in fish here. Just going to trade rods. So, all right, third rod here. I've got, I think it's a 3-ounce bucktail on there. I'll let it settle, try to get under them a little bit, if the fish let me. I'll get that fish in a second. I gotta get out of here. Ferry wake combined with the rip, I don't want to drift back any farther. I want to push out of the rip here. I'll release the fish. Okay, rod number 4. This is a 3-way rig. Got that heavy 8-ounce cannonball sinker there, about a 5-foot leader to a bucktail, strip of pork rind, the old traditional method of fishing here, and it will keep me, you know, right near the bottom. Again, trying to stay under those bluefish, hoping for bass. You have to really pick my days to fish here. That rip treacherous, and that splash well for a day like this will take care of anything coming over the back. God, they could all do that. Okay, next approach. I'm going to get away from the birds and everything and fish deep over traditional striper spots and see if that works. Yeah, I left fish to find fish. Yeah, I left bluefish trying to find stripers. So I've moved away from the birds. You can't hear them anymore. And drifting over spots where I've caught many, many stripers. Yeah, just a couple 100 yards away. But out of that main area where the fish are all over the place, all those bluefish. And fishing the 3-way rig to stay deep. Okay, I can't get away from the bluefish. I can't seem to get any bass. I'm going to go off and do something completely different. Okay, if you look at this aerial, upper left-hand corner, that's where I'm catching the fish. If you look where the cursor is in the middle of the screen, that's where I'm headed. Okay, behind me is what's known as the ruins. And yeah, this was a fort. I believe it was built for the Spanish-American War. It never actually got used for anything except bombing practice for many years. I think 1949 through 64, and prior to World War II, which explains partially the condition that it's in. Yeah, they bombed this place. It's pretty big, and it's just kind of amazing that even back around, 1900 or so, they built something like this and actually never used it for anything but practice. But yeah, so I'm going to run the drone along the base of this. I would like to see bombs. I don't know if I'll see bombs. I think I'm going to see seals, like, right there. Hello. You're on camera. Yeah, so certainly I'm going to see fish. Definitely going to see seals. Bombs, I don't know about that. It was a long time ago. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting structure that we drive by, like, all the time as we're heading out to Montauk to go fluke fishing. And yeah, and after Hurricane Sandy, bombs did wash up on the beach, so you never know. But, look at that, just a little doorway there. All right. Okay, so I've driven by this thing many times. I've never been this close to it, so I want to kind of go along it a little bit with the trolling motor and the fish finder going, and trying to be careful and make sure I don't run into anything. Wow, there's a lot of seals. Amazing me how many are along this structure, especially this time of year. I mean, in the winter, yeah, but this time of year. All right, so what is this? This is Fort Tyler. It was built for the Spanish-American War, but it wasn't completed until 1898, which was after the Spanish-American War. So they had it, all ready for big guns and stuff, guns that actually were never planted, as far as I know. So then it just started being used by like people going out there to have picnics and rum runners, bootleggers, all that kind of stuff. So the Long Island State Park Commission bought it from the U.S. government for $50. And I think that was in the 1920s. And amazingly, they concluded this wasn't a great feasible place for a park. Well, so it went back to the U.S. government, who then handed it right over to the War Department, who in around, I think it was 1936, started using it for bombing practice, aerial bombing practice. And they did that for a couple of years, and then decided to make it a bird refuge in 1938. And it's not clear to me what happened there after that. Of course, World War II came, and then in 1949 through 1964, they bombed it again. And it does not clear to me how they transitioned it from a bird refuge to a bombing place, but that's what the history seems to show. And then after that, now it's under the stewardship of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Okay, drone going down. See what we're going to see down there. Okay, this drone is it's a QYC drone, a 5-fish Evo. Yeah, I'm getting better with it. There's a lot of angles and things, but if you're a video gamer, you'd have no trouble, but I'm not. So, but I'm getting better. I played with it in the pool. I took a Sharpie marker, labeled the controller, all the controls and things. So, all right. So, look, my thought is, yeah, I'm looking for bombs. How can I not do that, right? So, after Hurricane Sandy, Fish and Wildlife Service went onto the island to check on their bird stuff, and they actually found 3 unexploded bombs. And so they had the bomb squad come out. I think it was from East Hampton, and one of them was still alive. I mean, they blew up all 3 of them, but one of them blew up on its own and actually made quite a bang. Oh, so there was a seal up on top. So I saw pictures of those things, and they're orange. So I'm kind of fixated on looking for orange, and I'm going along. Here's a nice blackfish. I'm going along the eastern edge of this, where I'm thinking if stuff got pushed in, bombs, any kind of stuff. I also read that they torpedoed it as well. They really wanted to wreck this place. That the stuff, I would need a hard bottom, and maybe stuff would get pushed up against these boulders. I wasn't sure how big the boulders were looking from Google Earth, but I'm going to get to see that. Nice blackfish there. So I'm thinking, anything that got washed up in these storms would get pushed against this structure. So I'm looking, it's again, it was a long time ago, but the bombs that they showed, the pictures I saw from after Sandy, so 2013, the one that they showed was pretty intact. So who knows? Hey, in the meantime, I'm kind of curious about the fishing aspect of this, like what's down there hanging around these rocks. And by the way, it is illegal to go onto the island. You can't do that. But what I'm doing here is absolutely fine. Although they don't want people trolling, anchoring, or any of that kind of stuff, but I'm not doing anything like that. So, okay, this drone has no sound, so if I'm not narrating, it will be dead quiet. So just to be aware, that's not your system. And as I've mentioned, look at some orange in there. As I've mentioned many times on my channel, I do not put music on my videos, so I am not going to overlay music on this. You just have to enjoy the scenery. And of course, I'm viewing this live up in the boat, and it's the first orange thing, real orange thing I've seen on the bottom. And like I said, I'm keying on that color. So yeah, I mean, part of this too is, all right, I see something, I want to stop, I want to control the drone and go in on it. It just struck me that this was the only bright orange thing I saw on the bottom. But yeah, I'm giving it a good look here. I'm confident that's a rock. One of the problems is, even if you had, let's say, interesting stuff here, there's so much growth. Things could have weeds and stuff on top of them. Maybe then, you're not going to see it. But hey, that's part of exploring with the drone, right? You go down there, look around. You don't know what you're going to see. And you're going to see some stuff here, though. Yeah, you see a couple blackfish will be here hanging out over kind of open bottom. I never want to think of them as a schooling fish, but I got to tell you, from diving, the best rocks, it was like, you could have 8 or 9 rocks in the same area, and they're all on the same rock together. Blackfish seem to attract other blackfish. Definitely some good ones around here, considering the water's like 70 degrees. I think it was 69 degrees. And it's not deep, basically 10 to 15 feet. So the seals really kind of kept their distance from the drone. So I'll get a good look here by kind of hiding in between these boulders and just looking up, and here comes a guy. I mean, he's like kind of checking me out, because I guess I'm not moving, so the propellers aren't doing much. But yeah, they seem to be keeping away from it. Hey, I know my baitfish. I don't know what these are. They're not bunker because they're too narrow. I don't think they're mullet because they're not round enough. Anybody who knows what those are, I would like to know out of curiosity, because, why, I just haven't seen those before. It is a good blackfish. So that must have been some pretty major expense, like pushing into 1900 to build this place, and all they ever did with it was bomb it, and it's become a nice habitat for seals and birds and fish and so forth. But no bombs found, not this time. Yeah, not a surprise, right? It was 60 years ago. Probably a lot of the stuff is buried or rotted away. But I'm going to have a link in the video description to a museum site that tells you more about this. But I hope you like this video. And if you did, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Check out my online courses at saltstrong.com/Skinner. And don't forget my books, including my latest book, Fishing the Edge, Techniques and Tales from Surf, Boat, and Kayak. You can learn more about the books at johnskinnerfishing.com and on Amazon.